Hey guys, so today I'm doing something I don't usually do, which is just a comparison video on the brand new, well, it came out last September, Space Marine 2 game, in comparison to its predecessor, Space Marine 40,000 and 40k. The reason being is because I feel Space Marine 2 is has really fallen short compared to Space Marine, which came out in 2011, which is, you know, like a 13 year gap, and it's kind of fucking shocking, to be completely honest. But I'll get into the details of the reasons why in this video. It's one of my favourite games of all time, Space Marine 1. I was really excited for Space Marine 2, and I do like the game, but fuck me, it does fall short, and I'll explain that in the rest of this video. But let me know in the comments if you agree, or there's anything I missed, or there's anything else that, which you like or don't like about either game, because, you know, we're all chums here, unless you start being a dick, but, you know, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. So my first gripe of this is the start screen for Space Marine 2. Obviously you get all the brands, developers, that sort of shit, and it eventually loads up, and you just sort of get this bland screen that says Space Marine, and you know, you get a really spooky Space Marine in the background, and I mean it's cool in its own right, but it's kind of it's a bit bland. I'll show you what I mean. So with the Space Marine 1 start screen, obviously you get like the brands and stuff like that. In my opinion, just cooler because it's more animated. It's not just like white and black. You're like, okay, cool. I guess it's modernization for you. But then you get this, wait, and it's not just Titus. You press any key, fuck, and he just starts going ham on these fucking greenskins, doesn't he? And it's just a cool slow-mo sort of B-roll montage thing, and it's just epic. And when this came out back in 2011, it was absolute top-notch. May I also add that you don't have to sign up for a fucking account. Space Marine 2, you gotta sign up for a pros account just to get the other cosmetics. Some of them are shit, some of them are actually quite cool. But no, it's just a basic, you know, like story, settings, multiplayer, exterminatus, options, that sort of shit. No extra account you got to make for anything else. You don't have to be online to get all the other benefits or fucking whatever. Just nice and simple, and it worked. So this is my second case of testicular torsion with this fucking game. So here I am just playing a story. The graphics are impeccable. They look fucking good. I mean, the armor's a bit too brand new, spanking new. This is very repetitive, by the way. The debris kicks and stone throws and shit. Oh look, here's the second one. I mean, for example, in the first Space Marine game, I'm not sure I will have a clip of this. If I do, it'd be useful, wouldn't it, Conquer? But in the first Space Marine game, you play the first 5 minutes on the first mission, and Captain Titus is already with his bare hands moving this massive fucking like turret battery thing on the top of this orc warship with his bare hands, and turning it 180 so he can then fire it into the bridge of the ship to take the fucking thing down. Whereas in this game, you don't really get any of that. You get a Primaris Marine who's supposed to be stronger, faster, blah blah blah, whatever, and he's just kicking over some fucking stones. And it's very repetitive, and it's like every fucking like hour, and it's fucking shit. It's fucking shit. However, with the story though, it gets interesting about at 2 hours at the end, where you got your last stand and you meet Marnius Calgar, who, by the way, is one of my favourite characters of Warhammer, and has been since I was a kid. But I digress. And that's interesting, but the thing that makes it cool is the cutscenes, and that's a cutscene that you're watching. You're not actually really like playing it. And that was about it, really. And that was it for me, and with other people I've spoken to as well. Alright, so now let's get to the third thing, which is sexually frustrating me. which is the multiplayer side of things, or the co-op side of things. This is where it's a little bit odd to compare it, because the operations is very different to Exterminatus. However, we can start with multiplayer because that's the same thing, I suppose. Let's start with the customization, because it works with both modes. For example, in the multiplayer or the online menu, as you can see here, for Space Marine 1, you get a preview, like a live preview of both your classes, whether that's Chaos or the Imperium. But the customization differences, by the way, the graphics on this game, in my opinion, still hold up. Yes, it's dated, but fuck me, do the shaders look good. But you can see here, you can fully customize your Space Marine and also your Chaos Space Marine. And here are the classes. So you've got Tactical, Devastator, and Assault, right? And obviously they come with their different traits. So Tactical is like your run and gun. You get all these different weapons you can pick from. That's like got to be 7 of them, just taken at a glance, right? Your run and gun, you can have 2 equipment, you've got your perks and everything like that, and you've got your special equipment, who we're going to look at here. Yeah, you've only got 3 options, to be fair. It's not that many, but that's, whatever. And you've got your perks, and this is all the perks you could pick from. I believe it was only 1 of each you could choose from. This is my PC account, which isn't fully leveled up, so that's why I don't have everything unlocked. But then you've got all your custom individual classes you can make instead of just the regular 3, like on Space Marine 2. But here's the Heavy. Again, the Heavy doesn't have many variations. I mean, fair enough. I mean, it wasn't a very popular class anyway. But it did have its unique trait of where you could just mount it and it would fire faster and more accurately. Completely fair. You didn't have the force field shield in the way, which basically meant you had to have a grenade on you to even have a chance. And here's the Assault. Obviously you've got your jetpack, you can ground pound in the multiplayer, which was like fucking overpowered. You just kill people instantly. But this is, and also look how many weapons you get to pick from. You could pick from fucking anything you want. But here's the thing. In Space Marine 2 multiplayer, the abilities have fucking ruined it, in my opinion. And that is the reason why they have capped it to 2 of each class in a game. And there's no doubt about it. You can't fucking argue with me about that. If they didn't have the force field, if they didn't have the tactical, the all spec scan. By the way, these are very unique little champion skins you can get, which I think are quite cool. Which again, we do have them in Space Marine 2. However, they are locked to specific classes, which is fucking bollocks. It shouldn't be that way. But anyway. But yeah, if they didn't have the class abilities, the game would be so much fairer. You wouldn't have the force field, you wouldn't have the jetpack is non-negotiable. That's what you get for the jetpack. You've got the grapple on the Vanguard, and you've got the shield on the Bulwark. And I guess the shield can't really count, but obviously it's got the banner, which heals people. And you can't play the game you want to play the way you want to play it. You're fucked either way, really, is what I've learned. If you want to run around and play tactical, you're fucked. Unless you can catch people off guard, or it's a lot of running away. It's completely broken the game. And if they were to take those abilities out of them, or to keep them in operations, that's its home. That works. But if you have them in multiplayer, it's fucking broken it. Let the entire team play tactical if they want. Let the entire team play jetpacks if they want. Let people play the way they want to play. Don't make them feel like they are restricted to 2 people per class, because that's fucking stupid. But here we go, the Chaos Space Marines. You can fucking choose champion skins, you can choose appearances, you can completely customize your armor, and look at all these different types of armor you get to choose from. All those different unique individual helmets you get to pick from. And that goes for the same on Space Marine 2 with the regular Space Marines and Chaos. Regular Space Marines, by the way, you get about the same copy and pasted 5 different helmets for every single fucking class. Or like one helmet will look exactly the same to the other, except the other helmet has a skull on its forehead, and that is the only fucking difference. And like, that is just stupid. It looks like shit, and it's kind of a smack in the face when you have to run through 12 operations just to get this fucking helmet, and it's like, well, what's the point? Whereas in this game, every piece of armor is pretty fucking unique, as you saw earlier. And what I'm trying to show here as well on this clip is just how basic the menu is and how easy it is to get into a game. I'll get to this point later about the battle barge and the reason why I think it's so stupid. But look how easy it is just to get into a game. All you got to do is press search, you get in, and done. And by the way, this game's pretty much dead, but I did find a game, I think it was Control, and it worked pretty well. So this is the multiplayer match I got into, which I was just discussing. I was just rewatching the video, and I forgot I had this clip on my PC. And here we go. So some of the things I want to point out is look at the FOV on this game. Well, not the FOV, but basically how close you are to your character. I know, but just then, because I was squished against the wall, looked very close. But look how much quicker the gameplay is, and how less sloggy and chunky everything works, and how much more nimble I am. It feels actually more like a Space Marine. And the fact that I think in PvP on this game, your health will eventually regenerate along with your armor. I also prefer the armor system on Space Marine 1 compared to Space Marine 2. The armor system is fucking awful, and it should have never been a thing in the first place. But yeah, like look how much more of the environment you can sort of see, and you're not so pushed up into the back of the head of your character. But yeah, it's just like a short little clip just to show difference for the people who never played the first one, or to remind people who did play the first one of just how much different it looks, and potentially how much better it actually plays than the sequel. But I'll try and get some more gameplay footage at some point to show you. Again, sidetracked here. Another point I'd like to make about Space Marine 2 is that you are way too close to your character model. In Space Marine 1, you are a little bit further back. One, it allows you to appreciate your character and the armor you've chosen, but two, it also feels like you can play the game at a bit more of a better pace with a bit more predictability, because you can see a little bit more, and I don't know what it is, it just plays a little bit better in my opinion. Whereas Space Marine 2, you sort of shoved up to the back of the head of your character, and it makes things a little bit obscure, I guess is the word. And now we should get to my favourite part about Space Marine 2, which is the cunting battle barge. I understand they wanted to put extra effort into the game if that's what they were intending to do, and make it look good and unique and next gen and whatever. Like it's a social hub, but it's fuck all of a social hub when there's only 3 people who are in your lobby, and when you're in there on your own, you're just running about for no fucking reason. Like, yeah, I guess it's cool, it looks cool, and that's about it. It's the most inconvenient plebeian idea I've ever seen in a video game, from what I can recall. As you could see in Space Marine 1, you've just got menus. Like in old school games, you've just got menus. If you want to click on multiplayer, you click on fucking multiplayer. You want to edit your class, you click on edit class. Whereas in here, you've got to fucking either run all the way to the armory to go change whatever character you want to play, or your armor or whatever, or you've got to use the menu you can see there to then teleport to each place. But it's such an inconvenience. Like, why can't I just press a button and be straight into my armor customization, click a button and be straight into multiplayer, click a button and be straight into operations or exterminatus or horde mode or whatever you fucking want. And this is another reason which you've been watching just now of why I hate the battle barge so fucking much, and the matchmaking on this game so fucking much. As you can hear, I am foaming at the mouth and I am absolutely fucking seething. So obviously you've got to I'll get to this. You're fucking try and load into a game. You get a black screen, gotta load. It doesn't even load you into a game or into a lobby or anything. You go to the battle barge. It tells you to select what character you want. You click a character you want. You join. Someone's already playing the character you fucking want to play. So now you've got to go back to the armory, change that, and then go back in, and then wait for everyone to step into the square to start the game. However, in this game, I left. And now you've got to let it load again all the way back into the battle barge, because it's got to load all those assets, all those polygons to get back to square one all fucking over again. Here I am, back in the battle barge. How do I get into a game? Well, let me walk over to the control panel, pick what I want, then I've got to load back into the lobby, Then I've got to walk over to the square again, and guess what? There's no one in my game, it's just me. It refuses to load me into a game on my own, and eventually, like 60% of the time, I will eventually get a black screen like this, and it will just say connection lost, go back to the main menu. So I guess I'll fuck off back to the main menu then, shall I? Because that sounds like a good idea. And then it takes 3 years to load me back to the main menu, by the way. Doesn't have to load anything, it's just got to load this shit. And I'm back here, and I've got to start the process all over again. Okay, and now we get down to the bugs, the STDs of this fucking game. So, with the first Space Marine game, for example, I don't really. By the way, this is going back some time, obviously. I don't really necessarily recall there being any explicit bugs or issues that I had with the game, unless it was just connectivity problems, because at the end of the day it was 2010's Xbox 360 servers I was playing on majority of the time, so we'll just brush past that. There were like glitches you could do, especially in what was it, Exterminatus, which I love, and this is what Space Marine 2 should have been brought out with, by the way. That's a separate topic. Where you could just sort of stand in certain corners or stand on certain like lips on the against a wall across a room or whatever, and the enemies would just avoid you, sort of like some Nazi zombie type of stuff. And that was really, really fun. And I think I found the majority of glitches in that game that no one else really found, which I know you just got to take my word for it. But I tried searching for them online, no one else really found them, and they worked like infinitely. Like you could just stand there for as long as you fucking want, and as long as you were stood there, no one phased you. It was really cool, and that was really some really fun stuff in that game. That was about it really. When it comes to Space Marine, and the assault on multiplayer, like the moment they ground pound you, you're fucked. And I suppose, I mean, what else could you really expect? I mean, it was awful. And the melee weapons on that game, if they were hitting you with a melee weapon and you hit them with a melee weapon and you weren't assault, even if you hit them first, they would win no matter what. And that was irritating. But then again, every other class had a gun, so if you wanted to kill them, that's the way you were to go about it. So I guess it's the way to sort of like get around that. In Space Marine 2, for example, if you're playing assault on multiplayer, your weapon does just as much damage as it does with everyone else's, and you'll be wondering, well, what's the problem with that? Well, you're an assault, so your main aspect is to rip and tear with your power. You don't have a power axe in this game because they're gay, but with your power sword, your power fist, or your chain sword, because they're the only fucking options they give you. And you get a pistol, and that's about it. And you can only use your jetpack like twice. And even with the jetpack, by the way, if you want to dash off a cliff, you'll dash, but the moment your feet leave that cliff, you just sink straight down. It doesn't travel you over, which is fucking stupid. And if you are... I found this in Operations. I didn't try it too much in multiplayer because I don't really play Assault. But in Operations, for example, if you are on a ledge, like you can see my character now, and I jump up into the air and I want to ground pound those Tyranids that I'm shooting at down there, he won't do that. He'll just slam back down where he was already stood. He won't actually go down the level. He'll stay on the level he's already on, which is fucking stupid for a game that's just this modern, and the technology they're using in it with the new Unreal Engine, which is very fucking good. But yeah, sorry, with the melee weapons, they do the exact same amount of damage. And I feel like as an assault, if you are going to specialize in using a one-handed or two-handed weapon to fucking rape people with, then you should at least have the advantage of having doing at least a little bit more damage than a tactical or a heavy or whatever with their melee, and be able to just get that upper edge on them. Because heavies, if you get into close combat with them and they do not let their finger off the trigger, you're dead. You will get turned into a cheese grater with that many holes in you, and you will die every fucking time. It's just not great. So another bug I fell into as well, which is very generic. It's just connectivity issues, but it's only with multiplayer, like PvP. I will have the lowest ping in the lobby, and I'll just end up being I'll just lagging all over the place. Not necessarily rubber banding, but there'll be so much delay between myself and other people, and I'll have like half my health, and all of a sudden I've got nothing, and they're running about, and it turns out they were already running past me by the time I died because of the weird latency issues. And it is incredibly cancerous to try and play, and it actually hurts my head because the connectivity is that bad. I've played a couple of games, where the connectivity works, and fuck me, it just feels normal. It feels natural, and it feels like something I can get into. But at the moment, it's just a pile of wank. It's not worth touching, unless you have the bandwidth of NASA, and I think that's the only way it would actually play properly. Something which is a similar issue, but it's hard to really understand what the issue is caused by, is in operations when you're playing against Tyranids or Chaos or whatever, and I'll find that if I dodge out the way of an individual and they're nowhere near me, I could be 2 meters away from them. There'll be a 2 meter gap between my player model and whatever they're trying to hit me with, and I'll still get hit. And that's ended up actually killing me a lot of times. Or I will block and it just won't be blocking, it won't be working, and I'll just keep getting hit over and over again no matter how many times I try and fucking block anything. And the same with dodging as well. And I have some games where I'll just be getting hit by something and I'll be trying to block and I'll just get smacked to fucking get downed instantly. And there's no reason for it particularly. And it just makes me look like a shit player, and then everyone else is a man down, and it puts everyone else at a disadvantage, and I just feel bad, It's happened to me fighting a Carnifex, it's happened to me fighting extremist level enemies, all that sort of stuff. It's just stupid. Even if I'm not trying to dodge anyone, I just happen to be stood far enough away, they'll still fucking hit me. I can't explain it, and I don't know what it is. I don't feel like I'm lagging, I don't feel like anyone else is lagging. It's almost as if someone's got the commando perk on Modern Warfare 2, and they could just lunge across the fucking entire continent and stab me in the back and kill me. That doesn't really make any sense to me. And now the final part of the video, which I wanted to convey, which was things that I missed from Space Marine. Well, I miss in Space Marine 2, which they had included in Space Marine 1, or I just feel like would improve the game as a whole, which is instead of just playing operations or just PvP games to unlock armor, like in some cases you've got to complete just 27 games or whatever just to unlock a helmet. What's the point in that? Can someone fucking remind me, please? They probably realised how effortless the armor variations were and thought, no one wants to try and get 100 headshots for this piece of shit, let's just make them play the game more and then eventually they'll unlock it at some point. Yeah, I guess fair enough, but maybe if they actually put some effort into the different customization options, then, it would make it a little bit more tangible to want to play the game more, so they could actually unlock that piece of armor that they want. Whereas the Space Marine 2, as you may have seen in a previous clip, was if you wanted to get a helmet, you may have had to get 5 grenade kills. If you wanted to get the relic set, you may have had to get like 20 kills of, not 20 kills, like 5 kills without dying a certain amount of times, or something like that, or get a certain amount of kills of a certain weapon, or whatever it was. It was interesting, and every piece of armor had a challenge you had to complete in order to unlock that piece of armor, or maybe it was just as simple as leveling up. Whereas in Space Marine 2, like I said, you just have to play like 10 missions and then you unlock a piece of armor, and then 5 more missions and you unlock another piece of armor, and it's just like, what's the fucking point exactly? It's completely pointless, and the armor customization, as I've mentioned many times, is fucking, it's shit. It is shit. Also, something I forgot to mention with the story. So, with the storyline in Space Marine 1, you could hold up to 4 weapons at a time, which is kind of cool. Whereas in Space Marine 2, you can hold 2 and your melee weapon, and that's it. So you can't really experiment much with different weapons. You can't sort of have the ideal, the right tool for the job. You're just stuck with what you've been given, and then you're told to you know, you're patted on the back and told to go get him, champ, and good fucking luck, and that's about it, really. And it takes a lot of fun out of the game, and it makes you not really want to try out different weapons, because you kind of find what you like and you stick with it, in my experience. And also you find yourself running out of ammo way too much as well. So another point I had was, if you noticed when I was going through the multiplayer customization for Space Marine 1, for example, you would go down all the different classes, whether it's tactical, heavy, assault, or whatever, or all the different loadouts you've got as well. The skins stayed the same. Granted, on Space Marine 1, you just made a character and that was it. And to be fair, for the time, that was fine. Even now, to be fair, I'm probably completely content with that. It's what I'm used to. But however, in Space Marine 2, what they could have done was just, instead of giving yourself, I think it's 4 different sets of armor you can give yourself, and then on a separate tab, 4 different color schemes you get, and you have to recreate, if you want a certain design, you have to recreate that for every single class, and then you have to recreate that for operations, and then recreate it for PvP as well. I wish you could just create. You get 4 or 5 different slots, and they all transfer over to each character. So if you want a Blood Angel slot, you make a Blood Angel slot, and you know what I mean. I don't want to over-explain it. Also, moving on from that, so in the story, they said you could customize Titus when you're playing the story. That fucking bollocks. You have to pre-order the game, which is what I did, but I got it for cheap. You get customizations for it. All I got was a bright blue ugly skin for the bolter and the pistol and the chainsword, and I got a Terminator pauldron, like shoulder pauldron for my character, and that was it. And when I look at the customization options, there's like 3 or 2 other slots, implying that there's other skins you can buy for Titus to play with. And it's like, well, what can I fucking play with? Like fucking nothing. So it's just like, well, what's the fucking point of giving us the UI for the customization, but there's nothing there? It just feels a bit like underhanded, I suppose. And also, I don't like how certain chapter champion skins are exclusive to certain character classes. Like for example, you've got salamanders for sniper. Maybe I don't want to play sniper to be a salamander. Maybe I want to have a salamander armor for a different class. Or it's like bulwark with dark angels. Maybe I want to play dark angels as tactical. It's just like, and the thing is, you have to pay for it as well. So, like, if you want certain customizations, you have to pay for it, but then you can't use half of it because it may be for a character that you've never touched once in your life, or you have played and you just don't like it and have no interest in playing it. Like, if you're someone like me, I just like playing tactical. I'm quite happy just to run and gun and do my own thing. But I feel like people should be given more freedom and more opportunity to choose what they want and play how they want to play. Whereas this game is very restrictive, and it's like, no, it's like 9, you play as this character with this skin and no one else, and it's just, or if you're playing, multiplayer, it's like 9, only 2 people play this character, only 2 people play this character, no more, no little, and you're just like, well, okay, well, I guess I'll fuck myself, and someone's already taken a character I want to play, so I've got to play something that I have no interest in, and I have no interest in the game now. So that's one way to kill your player base, I suppose. But from what I can think of, that's everything I wanted to cover. This hasn't been scripted or anything, it's just been me ranting. But if there's anything that you guys thought I missed, or anything that you guys think would be cool to add it to the game, or you just want to chat shit because you've got nothing else better to do, then feel free to leave a comment, subscribe if you need something to put on the background of your miserable life, and I'll see you guys in the next upload, which I have no idea when that's going to fucking be.